Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talk Everything Education, where I'll be talking to educators and psychologists or counselors from different parts of the world to look at ways by which they are dealing with the mental health issues of educators and students. As we know, post-COVID, or we're still in the COVID situation where there has been an increase in the mental health of educators and students. And some students are finding it extremely difficult coping with going back into education because they have been on lockdown for a while. And as a result of that, there have been a number of challenges. Some students have said that while they were on lockdown, they felt like committing suicide, etc. And they've gone back into the educational institution with high level of stress, high level of anxiety, high level of uncertainty, and they don't know how to cope. And the educational institution do not have the resources in helping these students and telling them how to cope. And the educators themselves do not know what to do and how to support the students. So on this platform, we'll be discussing what some countries are doing, what some educators are doing, and some psychologists are doing in order to help their students and their educators. And for us to actually see how best could we use some of those strategies and tools to help ourselves. Because as much as we would like to think that it is the responsibility of the educational institution, we also are very much aware that financially, a lot of them are not able to cope and they don't know what to do because the government is not putting in money in the mental health and mental well-being of the students and educators. And that is a big issue because educators do not know how to cope. Before COVID, there have been a study where 67% of educators have said that they suffer from some form of stress or mental issues. And now, where we've had the situation of COVID, and educators have to be coping with dealing with their own mental health and that of the students, and also trying to navigate the online platform of how to teach online, something they've never taught, they've never been taught while at training college. Their mental health issues have been so much higher. So that's what we use this platform to do, to discuss ways we could actually deal with it. The question I'm posing is, can educational institutions cope with the increase in mental health issue of educators and students? We know the answer is no, but what can we do and how could we help the situation? So without me continuing to talk, let me welcome my guests from around the world. And I don't believe in coincidence, but it's just so happened that they both are from India. You know, it's not, I don't plan it. I just send out requests and, educators and psychologists offer their service. And we have two, people on the panel. They're both from India. One is an educator and one is a clinical psychologist. So I'll just get them to introduce themselves. Can you please introduce yourself, say the country you come from, and please tell us what you do. Thank you for coming on board, and welcome to the platform.
Thank you, Debbie. Hello, I'm Pallavi Gupta from India and belongs to Lucknow. And I am a clinical psychologist at IMRR New Delhi as a consultant psychologist nowadays. Uh, Nowadays, I am in home and uh, working with some student which live near me, and my own son. I'm also watching how student and teacher relationship where nowadays they teachers are also in trouble. The means from morning to night they have to so much of make syllabus according to their children's, and children didn't work completely. They are nowadays children's were students were their routine was changed totally, and they didn't work their school works or homeworks not properly. They always try to uh, they didn't want to work actually. They didn't want to study at home. It, get environment like school that they sit at one place and they take education from their teachers. They didn't hear their parents what their parents will say with them to learn or to what. They always focus on that 2 or 3 hours for study in a home quarantine time. And this was very trouble for parents as well as teachers also. The increased level of the psychological distress and negative academic consequences are relevant. And psychological problems that occur in student, they reduce motivational level towards their studies, increase pressure to learn independently, amendment of loss of daily routines, and potentially higher rate of dropouts. Nowadays, there are many studies were reported that 25% of the samples was experiencing anxiety symptoms nowadays, which were positively correlated with increased concern about academic delays, economic effect on the pandemic impact of daily life. The many students survey administered worldwide, one survey revealed that 83% of young respondents agreed that the pandemic worsened their pre-existing mental health condition, mainly due to school loss of routines and restricted social connections. Their priority should include the disturbance to education progress, adaptation of habitual coping strategies, and psychological outcomes where nowadays were occurring in a students as well as teachers. They are not able to handle the student like they do in a class. They strictly in India, teachers were uh, what I say,
Do you want, okay. Can you introduce yourself, please? Vashel, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Can you
Good
introduce
evening.
yourself, please? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Good
Yeah.
evening to one and all. First of all, I would like to thank you, Debbie ma'am, for arranging such a wonderful session and inviting it for me. I am Vaishali Chauhan from India. I belong to Maharashtra state. I am educator and I am working as an English teacher in Janata Secondary and Higher Secondary School, Oregaon District, Latur, and I teach English to standard 9th and 10th. My institution is in a rural area.
Okay.
And
okay. Thank you for that. What age group do you teach? What's the age of the children?
it is 16 to 19 age group.
Okay, 16 to 19 age group.
Teenagers.
Oh, teenager. Okay. Have you seen that? Yes, you said that they're rural area, but have you seen that there have been an increase in the mental health and the stress of the children that you're teaching? Have there been an increase in the stress level?
Yes, yes.
So how are you dealing with that? How are you supporting those children so that they are less stressed? What are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do to ensure that these students are less stressed and they're able to learn some of the things that you're teaching them, because you teach them English. So what do you do to help them to become less stressed, that they're able to learn the English that you're teaching them?
Yes, yes. Mm, my students are from rural areas, and now uh, because of uh, uh, because of this pandemic situation, it spread in all India, and that's why um, there is the law. Our government shut down the schools, colleges, and universities, and so all the students means 30 32 crore students are not moved to schools and colleges, and that's why they are at home, and our government try to continue the education, and so uh, he instructed to all the institution uh, to move the online teaching, and so our physical class transmitted into online class or in virtual class, and for the rural area, my students belong from the very poor poor background, and that's why they could not afford the mobile phone, and they also the another issue is that they uh, they they can't connect the uh, internet issue is also there, and they they have lots of problem related to the economical background, and fear and anxiety about their life, and the fear about their near ones or loved ones life is also in their mind, and that's why they are suffering for that mental issues and psychological issues, and uh, in today's uh, digital world, children also access to different kinds of information from the digital platform, miss, and some may not be true, caused by the stress and anxiety, and they have depression also, and the child not able to go play for outside, they are unable to attend school or interact with their friends, and also uh, they are not moving outside, and that's why they have depression, and the another issue is that the adolescent or teenagers, they suffering the grief like child and adults, and there also uh, own issue, mental issues also, because teenagers every time they are engaging themselves in the social media, like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram, and they also chatting to each other, and in that mm, they keep themselves busy in that social media, and they lose their very valuable time of learning, and if there is the online learning, means we educators conduct the online lectures, but some students are not joining to such lectures,
Right.
and they play games, listening music, and they are misuse the mobile phone also.
Right.
And some students, they haven't mobile because of due to their poverty, or due to the,
Right.
yes, economical background. And there are so many this type of so many crises they have to face.
Mm,
And,
mm,
some students now, uh, this is the month of October, and in India, in this month, our government conducts examination in every year, and this time there is also a half yearly examinations going on. And we,
really? So you guys, so sorry, second. So you all still have examination going on now?
yes.
Yeah, virtually.
Yes.
Okay, virtually exam. Okay. So how are the students feeling now that you all are having a virtual exam now, bearing in mind they did everything virtually? What is the situation with the stress level?
It's really stressful for both teachers and students. Actually, they have to interact virtually uh, in a physical in school, as in at a school. Teachers and students are face to face during examination. But nowadays, they can student didn't take studies there seriously. They just like studies play game, and they didn't try to learn or understand that thing what teacher was teaching them.
Right, right. So
Yes,
how are you dealing with the mental health of those children, those young people,
i
bearing in
think uh,
mind
I
they're
think
suffering from
teachers are
COVID?
more stressful. Teachers are more stressful than students nowadays.
Really?
Yeah,
and
teachers are,
in teenagers, my students is also um, giving examinations, and we conduct online lessons, and we also conduct the examinations also virtually. And some students, they do well, but some students, they can't understand the questions, and they don't think about the answers also, and they only copy that question from the Google form, and they also uh, uh, paste it on Google, and they get the answer from the Google, and write down in the Google form, because and this is
yeah, it's
mm, and this is a very critical condition. This is the critical problem for us educators, because we are unaware about it. We think that our we conduct lessons, and our students are very bright and they write the answers, but nowadays the future of our students is in dark, and teachers is in dark, and only Google is bright, because they do copy and paste only.
Right.
yes,
That's
I agree with
interesting.
you.
That's really interesting that the students are now using the Google platform for answering all the questions. So therefore, when you give them that's one of the challenges of the online teaching, isn't it? Because you
Yes,
cannot see what they're doing. So they're actually doing the exams, and while they're doing the exam, they're actually on the phone Googling the answer. Oh my goodness, this is challenging. So how do you overcome it? Can you overcome it?
Actually, students are a small child are becoming dependent on their parents nowadays.
Hmm.
This virtual classes, they
How are
totally
they?
uh, to make them independent. We try to say parents to don't come during their classes, and always suggest them to give him homework for to do himself,
Hmm.
not by helping in their all things in examination or test. When we take all these things, don't sit with them, answer them its own. It's wrong or right, it doesn't matter for us, but they have to do their work by its own. We always suggest to parents for this.
Right. Paliva, you said that you feel that the teachers are more stressed than the students. Vashela, do you think that you as an educator is far more stressed than the students you teach?
Actually, I'm a psychologist as well as a mother also of one child, and I know how to how to deal with at that time.
Yeah.
Tough for me and for that teacher also. Then how she cope, how tough for teach their children 60 70 strength of classes, and she has to teach all the children at one time. She has to look all 60 children at one time and do their work do their work
So are you saying that there's 60 children on the online platform?
Yes, at one platform, at a Zoom class, and one teacher at one time for a 45 minutes and 60 children. It's very tough for one teachers to tackle with all these problems. All shouting at the same time, ma'am. At that time, teachers have to say, shut your mouth or keep silence, or she has to teach his lesson properly. She also heard that she also have to heard all these things that ma'am, your teaching way is not correct, but parents or a student didn't feel that how tough is tough for teachers. And that time they have to work from morning to night for making their syllabus, not only a one classes. So, she has there are many sections of one classes, and she has to work for all their classes.
Vashela, thank you. Can you share with us what your teaching life is, what your teaching day is like? Because Paliva said that she feels that educators are much more stressed than the student. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
You feel that you're more stressed than your student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why do you feel that you're more stressed than your student? Why are you more stressed? What are you doing that is making you more stressed?
Because of this pandemic situation, the students can't reach to educators can't reach with the students. Means now we are not physically in one place, means in school, and that's why we are unaware about what the students are doing at his home, and their parents is also illiterate in a digital manner, and so they don't know how to deal with mobile phone, and they don't know what they don't give the attention to their child also, what he or she are going to do, because they have work, means they are going out for their earnings, and in rural area the parents are illiterate, and that's why they are not giving any attention. And so the students are totally depend on educators and institution for their learning. And when in physical class we give them attention, and also we are not educators for them. We are not only mentor for them, but we are parents, their friends, and also educators and counselor also. And but nowadays this critical situation is going on, and that's why we are in a tense atmosphere, because we think that our students are losing interest in education, and they attracted to the irrelevant things, mean like social media. They are not serious at their academic year, or academic progress, or their exams also. uh, and that's why what should we do for it? It is the biggest challenge before the educators in India. And all the students, they lose their very valuable time, and they also uh, go back, means they are they becoming very poor in education or learning also. And
Right. Yeah, but yes, but don't you think the reason why they might be losing interest is because they're stressed?
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, uh, they have anxiety, fear, and they have also depression. So many times they are frustrated, and that's why they live isolated, or they there is a change in their sleep, because I am educator, and I am not only educator, but I am doing the work like a counselor. In this critical situation, I reach out to their village and their home also, ma'am, and I personally meet them, uh, them, and with their parents and with students, and their parents complain me, ma'am, he is not doing his study, and also he is not eating, means his daily charges also he is not doing neatly. And these are very critical problems. And also students are not listening their parents also, because they prepare the atmosphere of school rather than their house atmosphere. Because in rural area, their parents are went on field, and they are out uh, for their livelihood. And that's why students are not any mental support also from anyone at their home, and that's why they prepared school and educators rather than their house atmosphere. And they are eagerly
Right.
asking me one question repeatedly, ma'am, when our school will start? But I am unable to give them any answer, because this condition, means this situation is very critical, and the school time is unpredictable. That's why there is not a definite or particular time I could tell them.
So,
So
how do you help the students? How can you help the students in relationship to their mental health? What do you do? How are you supporting the students?
yes, give the children to opportunity to talk about what they are feeling, means give them mental support.
How?
And we have not we should have behave with them as a parent, as a counselor, as a friend, and giving them a feeling touch, and also encourage them to share their feelings with us, and ask the question. freely and give the answer honestly. And also we create the comfort zone for them. And also the we also uh, encourage them to learn, and we have to make them phone calls and counseling that students. You give the attention to your education or your learning, and how and what is the bad effect you face in the future. You have to tell them, because of overuse of this uh, media, means social media, how you lose your valuable time. And we have also tell them the reality of this COVID-19. Means we have to tell them, don't listen, don't listen every time, or watch or read or discuss about this very pandemic situation, but divert their attention to other creativity and creative work also.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Paliva, what do you think how do you support the educators? Because you say to me the educators are far more stressed than the student. So what do you do to support the educators to reduce their stress level?
We always make a interview, small interview with some teachers, and talk about their problems, that how they are facing their problems while during teaching. When there are situations, we work according to them. Actually, when they stress, we always say about for relaxation techniques, some relaxation techniques with them to feel them light, some yoga techniques for concentrations and all these things. We always try. We always say to teachers to always interact with um each other during.
Whoa. Paliva? I think we've lost one of our guests because the internet seems to have failed. Vashila, let me just talk to you still in terms of what do you do to relax yourself as an educator? What do you do on a regular basis, either daily basis, every other day? What do you do to reduce your stress level? Can you hear me?
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, I means educators and schools supporting and teaching to the students, but give the less focus on the maintaining of mental health of the educators. And who is fine to balancing in a society, or who is engaged every time himself in remote teaching. And that's why means the educators take out the time for himself or herself also. And also the educators every time the every time engaging himself in health practice, but it is important to mental health is also. So try to take his own time. And also he used to do exercise, meditation, breathing exercise, yogas, and also he move his body. It is also very helpful to maintaining his mental health. Or and listening music, he should do his hobbies, means like listening music, reading, and also playing any game, or spending his hobby, and also journaling, and these are very important things to maintain the uh, mental wellness. And if the educators do all this thing, means he should also self compassion, he self talk, and also he this is a very tough time, and it is a time to kind himself, herself, educators, and he also look inwards, and think of his her own mental health. And if he set the realistic goal, small goal, and when less expectations from the others, and also herself or himself, and these are, and fulfill himself or herself, and these are the strategies, these are the issues, and definitely the educators um, maintain his mental health.
Yeah, yeah. You know, something you say which is fantastic. Having less expectation. That is
Yes,
so
yes.
fantastic because we have so much expectation that the way we teach in the physical classroom, we have the same expectation of teaching on the online platform. And when you have those expectations, it is not realistic. As a result of that, it increases the stress level. And as a result of increased stress level, it means that it prevents you from being able to do what you're supposed to do. That is such a fantastic thing for us educators to be aware of. Our expectation of being on the online class platform and being in the physical platform. That is so crucial because as long as we have those expectations, we will always have a high stress level because we are expecting something to be the same way it used to be, and it cannot be the same because we have different type of tools to deal with the current situation. That's brilliant. That's such a fantastic idea for us to look at in terms of what are we expecting on the online platform. We cannot expect the same as we had in the physical classroom because as we could all kind of talk about the physical classroom, it is so much easier. There isn't a problem. The students are right there. You're seeing the body language face to face is not a problem. But when we actually come on the virtual platform, we are expecting the same outcome. And there is no way we could have the same outcome because we cannot be close to the students. They are doing whatever they want to do. We cannot see them. Sometimes we cannot see them because they've got the cameras off. Sometimes, even though we could see them, we cannot impose anything on them because they're in control. That is so very true. And I really believe the less expectation we have, the greater we are able to cope mentally with the situation we are in. Palava, how can you support educators? Because you've just told us that educators are far more stressed than the students. So A, what can we do? And B, what indicators that are telling you educators are far more stressed?
Uh, we have to first of all motivate or encourage them for their work, that they are working very well. Actually, they really need at this time encouragement from us parents, from parents especially, because they are working hard. Children didn't take seriously. That was uh, big problem for them. From there are many techniques where we can suggest them to teachers to do at their home, just like yoga and some relaxation techniques, uh, to keep them calm, and other some cognitive restructurings, and more, teaching to always try to tell them that change their teaching techniques. They like give give a work to one children as a leader, and say them to do their work, which when children do their work properly, then teacher will give them as a reward, just like a token economy we use for children, that when they work very well, then the teachers give them a star on their hand or a notebook as a sign that they will get a good marks for that. Then at that time the students was also motivated, as well as teachers.
Mm, 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 mm. That's, something you said which is really important. Parents need to be supporting the educators, because when COVID first started, we had the situation where parents were praising educators, saying they're the best thing, etc. But when educators started to demonstrate that they had fears in going back into the physical classroom, they began to be attacked, where parents were saying that the teachers were lazy, the teachers didn't care. So the parents start reducing the support, because the teachers were demonstrating that they were humans. So it's so interesting in all of that. The minute educators demonstrating that they're humans, the daggers are coming out on them, because it's like, how could you be human? How could you have feelings? How could you have fears? And that is quite sad, because those are not taken in consideration when dealing with educators, because we are human as well. We do have some fears, we do have some anxieties, we do have some reservations. So I'm afraid we will demonstrate it, because that's who we are as human beings. And it is interesting to hear you as a parent reminding parents that they need to support educators, because we are human as well, and we do need the support, because we don't know how to deal with our own mental health issues, as well as dealing with children mental health issues. Because as I say, in terms of 67% of educators in 218 stress that they suffer from some form of stress level and mental health issue. That is really, really high. So could you imagine now, in the COVID situation, where educators are forced to teach online, educators have to do things that they're not used to and they don't know how to do it, the stress level probably is 80%. So those are the things we need to look at in terms of how are people dealing with it. And you guys are saying that in India, yes, the situation is you're still teaching online. So how are the Indian government or the institutions in India helping educators? What are they doing to support educators and to support students? What are they doing? How many teachers, Pallavi, are you supporting? Because you are clinical psychologists. So how many educators are you supporting on a daily, a weekly basis? And are you working in certain institutions? What's the support? You are frozen.
Listen
Olivia, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Can you hear me?
Please, ma'am.
I cannot hear you. Okay, Mashallah, come please tell us. Yeah.
Can you repeat, ma'am?
Yes, I'm saying to you, how is your institution supporting you as an educator within regarding your mental health issue? And how are you able to support your students? I'm having some challenges with the internet regarding my guests. So we you know, the sound is going in and out. I'm talking and I'm getting messages that, you know, the internet is, one of my guests is telling me that the internet is not stable and she's been having power cut on and off. So that's the challenge that we're experiencing right now. So I might be able to get them back on again. Khalifa, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. I'm saying to you, how many educators do you support on a daily or weekly basis? And in India, are there enough support for educators and students?
I always not on a weekly basis. I daily support all the educators of my son's school teachers. They always work really hard. I really see their work, and they send their works on their Google Classroom, and always, and also tell on virtually during classes. And teachers they do their work very serious, but the student didn't take them seriously. So we have to always appreciate teachers during meetings, parent teacher meetings, or school meetings. We can support, we can encourage or motivate and say thank you to all the teachers. And also some counseling sessions we done during after after a week, or in a month we always take a small session with teachers. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, there is some network issues. That's why.
It's okay. I could hear you. You could continue speaking. I could hear you. I could hear you. I could still hear you. So how often do you
Take
have
a small. We appreciate or do a phone call, so socially interacted and ask their problems, and suggest them to do some physical exercises or some um, for a mental peace also, just like mindfulness and all these things. Mainly we work to help to cope them with their stress, to relax their mind, and how and give us some time to live with their family members also. Due to social disconnection, there was some anxiety and stress and frustration. Mainly frustration takes place during, because there was so much workloads for teachers during classes. They have to complete their syllabus also. At that time they have to complete homework also. They have to look their family also at a day at the same time, and at the same time they have to also see with their sit with their student also during virtual classes. So there were some difficult times for them. So we always make some time management or stress management techniques. We always guide them. If you are not able to go outside at that time, at this time, we didn't say to go and walk here and there or garden and all these things. We always suggest to sit in a silent room and meditate or mindful techniques, just like reason techniques and all the tell about them. Guided imaginary techniques, which was we can sit in a room and imagine that you are in a cool place or uh, in a garden, and you are feeling relaxed with. And also for to do their hobbies in some time, they can do complete their hobbies what they want to live with their families, or they want to cook or some interesting things to divert their mind some other place to one place to other place.
Right. Thank you. How many educators do you support? Do you work with a school, an institution, an educational institution?
No, I'm not connected with, but I'm always talk to my son teachers and some group of teachers which live in my near my house, and his schools also. I always connected with them.
Okay.
They ask me about all these things, so I work for them at that time.
Okay. Thank you. Bashali, can you hear me? You need to unmute. Thank you. Right. So what do you do to support your students? So, you say that your students are stressed, etc. So can you tell us 2 tips that you use with your student to reduce the stress level? What 2 tips can you leave us with that you use with your students, and 2 tips for yourself?
I make them phone calls and asking about their physical health, and also I talk them as a friend, and encourage them to to express their feelings with me, and also I tell them the importance of hard work. Nowadays there is a pandemic situation, but hard work is very important for their bright career. I should tell them, and also I promote an environment where the children can grow and develop in their full potential. Having fun and being safe means giving them advice to stay home, stay safe, but continue continue your study, and join the online classes. And also I will send some educational material on WhatsApp group, and also I contact with their parents to uh, give the students to mental support, and understand their emotional issues. And I also support, and I will give them a feeling touch to my students.
Do you feel that the government is doing enough?
Government is trying to do best on their level, but all things are it is not also 100% completed, because the situation is very critical. And learn from home means it is not a usual business, but it is a different situation.
Mm,
And that's why no one will expect 100% from anyone, means from government or from institutions or from educators or from not even students also,
mm, mm, mm.
because this is the pandemic, COVID-19, and this is a very critical situation.
Mm,
And
mm,
so uh, everyone should do his best, try
mm,
to do best
mm,
on his own level,
mm,
means uh, s- uh, we also do try to do our best on our level,
mm,
because we are I'm not saying that I do all the 100%, but
mm,
as an educator, I do my duty
mm,
honestly, and I try to reach to the students, try to
mm,
reach maximum students
mm,
who have not phone, means who are not attending the online class. I make them phone calls, and also I physically reach at them, and also I started my own YouTube channel for education, for the 8th, 9th, and 10th standard students,
okay.
and from all yes, and from all Maharashtra, ma'am, the response is very good through all Maharashtra.
That's very good.
Yes,
Okay,
be, uh,
okay.
be, because of my online teaching, and that I send my videos, my own videos, not from the others video on YouTube, but my own videos, and at that time my students feel that my teacher is with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
because students, they understand their teachers teaching very well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They have habit of their own teacher.
yeah. That is very true. That
Yes,
is very true. However, do you feel that the government is doing enough for the mental health of the educators and students? Do you feel that enough is being done to support the
Yes,
educators?
yes, government were trying their best, but the situation was really critical. At that time, uh, both educators and students both were working hard and facing problems
Mm, mm,
for this.
mm,
It's not in a government hand to vanish out this pandemic periods easily. It's
mm.
not a yeah.
Yeah. Okay, from let's just sum up. So from each of you, can I just have probably one point which you feel, 1 or 2 points that you feel that you would leave with educators that would help them regarding the mental health, the mental well-being and that of the students? Because I think it is so very important that as educators, we first of all support our own mental health for us to then support our students, because we cannot support our students if mentally we are not sorted and we don't know how to deal with our own mental issues. So one of the things I keep on saying all the time that I do and I encourage educators to do is a lot of meditation, walk in nature, meditation, journal, relaxation, dance, sing. You don't have to be a singer to sing.
Singing hobbies.
You sing, you dance. The more you dance, the more you release endorphins, which actually connect with your brains and relaxes you, etc. So those are some of the tips I give educators, and I tell them that they need to support the students instead of going straight into academic when they get in the morning. It's like playing some music to enable the student to relax, to enable to them to feel comfortable to talk. So what tips would you leave with us for educators and for them to actually, give out to the students? Palavi, can I hear you? what two tips would you give educators for them to take for themselves, and they could also use with their students? Can you hear me? Okay, let me go over to Vachelle. Vachelle, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, what two tips can you leave with educators that they could use for their own mental health and mental well-being, and they could use for themselves, and they could also use it with their students? What 2 points? Okay.
The educators should do meditation, yogas, exercise, and he also move his own body, and that's why he tried to means his mental health. Maintaining it is very important for maintaining his mental health, and he give the priority to his own hobby, or any anything which give him comfort.
Right.
He
Okay.
give content and comfort,
Okay.
and
Okay.
pleasure. Means listening music, reading books, and also singing a song, or any exercise, or any hobby.
Okay, thanks.
Whatever make them happy, we suggest them to do first of all meditation, or for all the things they want time for that. And for more, I didn't think so that they have so much time for meditation, or they can do some like after class they can take a small session of a dance or a singing type, singing music with children, and make them happy, and make them happy themselves also. At that time they can make a small music or dancing period. They can 10 minutes on them, and they can make their body stressless. And student stress also, they can lose student stress also. At that time, after a reading and writing, student get in stress and anxiety. Oh, how much work teachers were giving to us. And when the period was over, then teacher gave them a small session of a dance, and they dance with their teachers on virtual classes. They make them student as well as teachers happy. At that time, 10 minutes, both were laughing. Then the stress level of both of them became less. And also meditate after a night, or they can sleep. They can take a good sleep early at night, and get up at early at morning, and do a yoga meditation classes, meditation for them, and yoga also, in alom vilom techniques they can use very easily at home. It all only for a 10 minutes they can make them stressless.
Yeah, that is so very true. Thank you very much to my two guests from India, and I do thank my Facebook audience and educators. One of the things we must remember, our mental health is crucial, because it's already pointed out in 2018 that 67% of educators was suffering from stress and anxiety. So now that number probably is double. However, in order to reduce your mental health issue and your stress level, you need to find ways of relaxing. Remember, you cannot do everything on the online platform or even in the physical classroom. You are human. You could only do the best you can. And the more you do the best you can, the better result you would get. There is no point in you constantly being anxious and stressed. Those behavior patterns is then transported onto your student. You may not think that your students are aware of your energy level. They are. Energy is power. Everywhere we are is energy. And the way you carry yourself, the things you do, your students would pick up your anxiety. And when your students pick up your anxiety, they in turn become anxious. It's like on Thursday, one student said to me, Miss, she said to me, oh, Miss, you're very spiritual. And I said to her, why did you say that? She said to me, you are picking up our energy, which was very true, because at one point in the class, the negative energy in the class, I needed to change the negative energy because the energy affects how we perform. So you need to be very careful as to what aura or what energy you put out there, because your students are feeling the energy. It would also determine how they actually act or react and the level of the anxiety and mental health issue. Because we do know that the mental health of our students and our educator have been the highest it has ever been for various reasons, because educators now are teaching on the online platform, something that they're not used to, something they didn't know how to do, something they have high expectation of. And when you have high expectation, it increases your stress level, because the people that you have a high expectation towards, they don't know your expectation. So educators, I'm stressing to you, you need to start taking care of your well-being. Your mental health need to be taken care of before you could actually support your student. It is so important that you deal with yourself first. And there is no point in stressing that you don't know how to do whatever on the virtual classroom. You could only do the best you can, and stop putting yourself under stress. We are all in this together. We do not know what to do. We do not know how to do it. We are all learning the platform. It is, quote unquote, new normal. So you just have to get on with it the best way you can. Take care, everybody. Good morning, good night, good evening where you are. Please like, share, and comment. It is so important that we constantly discuss our mental health issues and how we are able to navigate this new normal to enable us to effectively deal with the young minds in our care. Because the young minds in our possession, they're looking on us for support. So we need to find some way of dealing with it ourselves to enable us to deal with our student. So educators, stop being so hard on yourself. You are doing a fantastic job. You are doing a brilliant job. You are doing a job that you didn't know how to do before, and you've got it right. You cannot get it 100% right. You need to look at it as you are an educator in training. It doesn't matter how many years training or how many years you've been teaching. Right now, this is new to you. So you need to see it as you're an educator in training and embrace it. Thank you very much, everybody. It is not a moan, it's a point and it's a fact. Take care, everybody. Stay blessed and have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.